Isaiah Thomas talking smack in that little soundbite, which is a great segue for what happened last week. So the show was dark last week. I took a break to relax a little bit, regroup and think. And every time I take a break, news pops up, and I hate it. So the NBA got hit with a scandal, gambling. Three players in the NBA or adjacent to the NBA were associated with two basically different type of scandals. One, the Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, a man who is in the Hall of Fame for some reason, was basically indicted on alleged charges of a poker game, high stakes poker game, with basically helping swindle people out of their money, working with the mob of things. That was the big one, like the mob, and it just that case just sounded so fake to me because like it just basically was like the Genovese, the Gambino. It was like, yo, what year you think you in? You just start naming these groups because like you're trying to like shock people. I just felt like that one was fake. Do I think he was involved with something? Probably, but like I don't think it is as egregious as they try to make it sound. The other one was Terry Rozier, point guard of the Miami Heat. Apparently was affecting FanDuel bets or basically just betting. Period. And then Damon Jones, former three-point specialist, or as I like to call him, the guy who followed LeBron wherever he went. He apparently was giving out, selling information on who was hurt and who was not. Does this matter? I ask again, does it matter? I don't think it matters the way traditional media would like it to. I just don't think so. One reason why it's not shaking the ground is because now the biggest media conglomerate as far as sports goes is ESPN, and they're not going to bury the NBA. They're a big partner in the NBA. They have a lot of money invested in the NBA. The NFL got dealt a scandal as well, and Pablo Torre's exposed. Like Pablo Torre's been exposing a lot about the NBA recently, whether it's collusion or whatnot. But ESPN's kind of like, which brings me to the differences and the hypocrisy. Because if this was Major League Baseball, there. I remember. I don't know if you got to be of a certain age, and if you're my age group or older, in 2005, 2004, 2005, this thing called the Mitchell Report came out, right? First, it was Jose Canseco's book on steroids and who he thought used it. And then Major League Baseball went out of their way to release this thing called the Mitchell Report, and it exposed everybody. And ESPN had wall-to-wall coverage of this thing. Like, it didn't matter what the heck happened on the field. It was the steroids. Oh, the steroids. Here's the difference in the steroids and the gambling. Okay? Let me buckle up. Guys were using steroids in baseball to make themselves better and the team better. Okay? This gambling thing, which if you think for 1 second just stops at Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, you are delusional and stupid. Just sum that up, okay? Because it doesn't. The difference is these guys were shaving points. Basically, there's a thing. Terry Rozier is like he just stopped playing. There was nothing wrong with him. Damon Jones is out there saying this guy's hurt, for parlays, and this is why it's dumb. Your Terry Rozier is career-wise, his career salary in the NBA is over $100 million. He's scheduled to make $29 million this year. You're basically jeopardizing your career for a couple wins in a parlay here or there. Unless you're in a bind, you're like, I can't really think. Now I know gambling, you want to do it because you want the rush and all this foolish stuff like that. But if you're an athlete and you're a big athlete, like, you should be banned from sports if this is found to be true. Like, you should not be able to participate in a pickup basketball game, or let alone, you shouldn't be able to play your kids in sports because you're not trusted. Now, back to, does it matter to the average fan? It doesn't. One, most fans now watch sports for the betting and the parlays. All right, I'm not gonna go down a rabbit hole of how a parlay works and all this stuff, but that's pretty much you find, you're not gonna find too many dedicated NBA fans. I live for this. It's a couple. My Uncle Donald, Uncle Gene are the last two. But you pay attention to how basically this has been glossed over. Like, it was reported, it was news, but it was, we got to move on from this. Let me be clear. If another star comes out, now a star athlete, star basketball player, if it's reported that this is linked to anybody of consequence, because if you learn from any scandals in the NFL, if you learn from any scandals in Major League Baseball, big names are not excluded from this. The New England Patriots, Tom Brady, and his foolishness. When the Saints were doing Bounty Gate, they had some big name Pro Bowlers on that. Baseball, A-Rod, and the list goes on and on. The NBA right now, if you're Adam Silver, you may, I understand how much betting matters, but you may want to stop any affiliation right now with any betting partners, because I promise you, they're not done. Now, ESPN and NBC Sports and whoever else has a relationship with the NBA, they're not going to cover this the way I would like them to cover this. I would like to see a little more in-depth talk. Right now, they're kind of like, it's a legend. Everybody's like very careful in their words. It's a legend. I have seen them cover other sports, primarily baseball. And basically, it's once, a scandal happens, it's the end of the world for this baseball player. He did it. He's evil. A-Rod shouldn't make the whole, like, they wall-to-wall coverage is basically like a hit job, because, baseball doesn't, their commissioners don't rule the media the way the NFL does and the way NBA does. When the NFL gets hit with a scandal and the NBA gets hit with a scandal, somehow it just goes away. What scandal in the NFL, Brent? I'm glad you asked that, Shaft. Thank you. How about concussions? They don't even call it concussions no more. They just say CTE now. CTE. Oh, we no longer, it's no longer a problem. Shh. There are no sick players. Never were sick players. No. Shh. ESPN, let me wrap this up, did a show called Playmakers. And Playmakers basically was a fictional show about a fictional football league. It followed a fictional team. And there was drug use and guys cheating and concussions and gay players. And great first season, and the NFL said, don't bring that back. That is a true story. And the NFL did not bring it, and the ESPN said, okay, we won't. Think about how the NBA is covered. You got to tiptoe around the players. You got Jay Williams up there. You can't say nothing wrong about any player. If you say a player can't play, how dare you? You don't get to critique that player. Just saying. For some reason, these sports, you're not allowed to critique anymore. They're so sensitive in the critiquing. I want to see what's going to happen with this gambling thing. Quite frankly, I don't really care. I care, but I don't. You know why? Because Terry Rozier wasn't making a damn difference anyway, and the Portland Trailblazers sucked anyhow. So, quite frankly, I think the Trailblazers got off with it. They probably leaked the information so they could get out of the Chauncey Billups contract. And Terry Rozier is what it is. And Damon Jones, I can't believe, is an assistant coach. Because, what did he do? Seriously. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, don't go anywhere. You know why? I'm glad you asked. Because now, the moment you all been waiting for, And this time I'll actually record it because I don't think I did last show. It is time for the news. Unless you're listening on the podcast. That's right. If you're listening on the podcast, you won't get any news. But if you listen on DJ Chase Radio, by any chance, you will get news. So buckle up, sit tight, because it's time for the news. Of course, after I cue it up, YouTube and Facebook, I have to cue it up. Like, there are things that go into effect. You gotta play the song in the background. You gotta have the sound effect ready. I don't think I have a sound effect for this. But, yeah, you understand. You understand. You get it. Cue Stevie Nicks. Sing the song as I should sing it. It's time for the news, boys and girls. Let's get into it. All college football. All right, let's go. Week 9 is in the books, and let's talk about some games. Indiana continues rolling 56-6 over UCLA. Number 3, Texas A&M basically got Kelly fired at LSU as they just steamrolled number 20 LSU 49-25. Did someone say upset alert? I think Shaft did. Memphis beat number 18 South Florida 34-31. Arch Manning put up 346 yards and 3 touchdowns with a win over Mississippi State 45-38. College football predictions, anyone? I'm glad you're asked. Let's take a look. Indiana is 94% chance. Ohio State 96. Texas A&M 96. Alabama 93. Georgia 81. Oregon 75% chance. Ole Miss 70% chance. BYU 69%. Georgia Tech, 50%. Miami, ladies and gentlemen, the U 47% chance. Vanderbilt 44% chance. Texas back in the 41% chance. Texas Tech 38% chance. The Longhorns. USC 13% chance. I don't see that happen. North Texas also don't really see that one happening at all. Keep it moving. It's time to talk to CIAA, a little HBCU, and Virginia Union beat Boise State 24-7. Elizabeth City beat Lincoln 62-14. Fayetteville State over Shaw 31-13. Johnson C. Smith 52-27 over Winston-Salem. The CIAA standings look like this. Conference-wise, Virginia Union 6-0. Fayetteville 5-0. Johnson C. Smith 5-1. Virginia State 4-2, and everybody else is just hoping and praying. Let's go to the NFL, shall we, and look at some key games from this past weekend. Currently, right now, Monday Night Football is on, and so is the World Series. Let's wrap it up, shall we? The Jets, Jets, suck, but they got their first win over the Bengals 39-38. The Giants lost their running back phenom, Cam Skittleboom. He is done for the year. We hope he comes back strong, but they did lose to the Eagles 38-20. The Bills back with a resurgence, and they beat Carolina 40-9, ending their streak. Tampa Bay beat the Saints. I don't know if the score matters. Denver destroyed the Cowboys. That's what we live for. The Steelers lost, and Aaron Rodgers' homecoming back to Green Bay 35-25. The Dolphins win. Why? 34-10 over the Falcons. The Browns lost to New England. The Bears picked up a bad loss to Baltimore 30-16. And the Colts keep winning as they beat the Titans 38-14. That is the news. We'll be back with more show. I am the Notorious Sports Critic, Brent Reid, and this is Downright Sports.
to DJ Chase Radio. Turn your radio up. The home of the creative. Tune in 24/7.
World Series is popping off right now. 4-4 in this big game. Don't if they go 6, I'll call game 6 on DJ Chase Radio, but I don't feel like I think I could call game 5 tomorrow. I had planned to, but I have some games coming up that I'm gonna promote soon. Sing the songs as I should sing it. Woo, baby, woo. Woo. All right, let's wrap this show up, shall we? Every time I do a show, I get to this part, I get to the third segment, and I go, dang, I made it to the third segment. I'm kind of surprised. I'm a little surprised. WWE. I haven't talked about the WWE in a while. And 2 weeks ago, we saw the Vision turn on Seth Rollins in kayfabe and shoot. Seth Rollins' shoot hurt his shoulder when he faced Cody Rhodes 3 weeks ago. Went coast to coast and landed on his shoulder, pretty much dislocated it, which is sad. I personally didn't like the whole Vision storyline. I didn't like where it was going. I know that they were trying to do an evolution kind of thing. I know that the idea was to evolution 2.0. But every time they try in wrestling, period, not just the WWE, but every time they try to reinvent the wheel with old factions, in TNA they tried to do it with Fortune. It was basically supposed to be like the Four Horsemen. They tried to do, what was it, Illuminati and Immortals. It was supposed to be like an NWO style faction. When the WWE did the NWO, it was terrible. When they redid DX, it was terrible. Like, there's certain things you just can't bring back and make poppin' and make happen. I think Seth Rollins has had a few different factions. I think the only one he didn't get to see fulfilled, he had one with Buddy Murphy, and it was I think the guy's AOP. He was trying to do something with them, and he was like supposed to be like a messiah, kind of, or like a cult leader. That would seem kind of cool. But the thing he was doing with he didn't change. Like when Triple H did Evolution, he was no longer the guy in a leather jacket. He was now like the new Ric Flair, if you will. And when you looked at Vision, they just looked like a bunch of dudes together. There was no like uniform. And I truly think the problem was that they added Paul Heyman. I don't think they should have added Paul Heyman. If Seth Rollins is already good on the mic, Paul Heyman is good for being the mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar. He was a good, the storyline with him and Roman was pretty cool because it was like he was whispering Roman's ear. But, there's a such thing as overuse, and I think they're kind of overusing Paul. They don't need him in the Vision. Now, if you're going to keep this thing, the Vision going, and you got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, it's like the WWE's afraid to say, Braun is the guy, Bronson, you got to be the backup. They're trying to make them equal. And that didn't work with DX. We all knew Shawn Michaels was the guy. And the NWO, Hulk Hogan was the guy. And, when you have factions, somebody's got to be the guy. And if you're going to really do this thing, make Braun Breaker clear cut the guy. And in fact, if I'm going to do it, if I was booking it, I would change Braun's name to Braun Steiner. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, something Steiner. And just put that out there, break the whole thing. No, I'm here for real to take, break your face and everything and make it really fun. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The thing I've been holding my tongue back on when it comes to wrestling, and I'm going to throw this out there real quick because what I'm about to say is going to be a little long-winded. I would like to see them. You said you got Raw and SmackDown. You have a unique opportunity to kind of make those brands different. It seems like they play by the numbers. Why? I've always felt like, why not make Raw feel like, a WWE property? Make SmackDown kind of feel like WCW. You know what I mean? Like how WCW used to do. Make Raw like the old days. It was chaotic. You get no wrestling, just segments and then one a match. And make SmackDown like the WCW. You know what I mean? Kind of WCW. You had a couple. You knew who your megastars were, and then you kind of filled in with like your mid carders. And I think they do that, but you can't really tell. I don't know. I would make the whole presentation different and kind of make it like I would do that. I would make it in some form or fashion like a WCW. Any case, the WWE has a surplus now of black talent, black wrestlers, and I basically go out of my way not to bring up race in a lot of cases. But I'm noticing, Triple H, Mr. Paul Levesque, I don't think he knows how to book black talent. I don't really think so. When you look at NXT and what Shawn Michaels has done with guys like Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams and now Javon Evans and Obafemi and if you want to even look at the women's side of things, you got Lola Vice, you got Jada Parker, you got Kalani Jordan. Like Shawn seems like he's got a grasp on how to kind of let NXT be his thing, but Carmelo Hayes was hot as fish grease. And you bring him up to the main roster. First of all, you made him on SmackDown. He was like one of the first picks. But since then, after he had one match with Cody Rhodes, you've done nothing to make him relevant. If you look at a kind of like slow burn Dom Mysterio, they would put him in places to make Dom relevant. And it feels like when it comes like Carmelo Hayes should easily been in the picture for the United States title or the Intercontinental title. You look at New Day, one of the hottest groups of all time, and they basically ruined their turn. Like you had a chance to make their heel turn something legendary, and they ruined it completely. Like you could have put them in storylines with Jey Uso, you could have put them in storylines with CM Punk, you could have put them in storylines with LA Knight, like with anybody, and they're not. So I don't know if Triple H really knows because it kind of seems like he does struggle. Look at the Street Profits. Like, struggles with them. You had Montez Ford clearly, like, Street Profits, in my opinion, could have been the closest thing to what we saw in DX. You got a guy in Montez Ford that has the charisma, and you could have made, can't think of his name right now, but you could have made him kind of like that Triple H, where, like, we watch Ford do his thing, but then this other guy, we're kind of like, what's he going to do later? Like, there's so much talent that seems to get pushed aside. And it's not just black talent. Like, he's struggling completely. Like, he's not booking Spanish talent well. Like, that's why, like, Andrade can't speak. Like, his English isn't great. But why not just put Zelina Vega back? We're going to give him another mouthpiece, like a Paul Heyman. You get what I mean? Penta is on fire and has not smelled the title picture. Like, Triple H looks like the way he's booking, he's trying to book safe. I'm going to book the same people I know, and hopefully nobody's going to get mad, versus trying to create new. And if you always pay attention, like, people get mad at Vince, but Vince put new people in places. The Miz is a former world champion who main evented WrestleMania. Jinder Mahal won the WWE Championship. You know what I mean? Like, Vince takes chances. You got, the crowd went crazy for Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's a champion. Like, he takes chances, and he wants people that are eager. Maybe, just maybe, devil's advocate here. All the talent I'm speaking of, the black talent I'm speaking of, are they hungry enough? Are they pushing themselves? Are they, going into business for themselves the way guys used to in the old days? I don't know, but I was talking to DJ Chase earlier. He doesn't watch anymore, but he was like, "What's the deal?" And I was like, "It just got stale. It's stale at times." I know a lot of wrestling podcasters do this, and I'll wrap the show up here. I do what I call the wife test, and my wife will watch wrestling with me here and there. I don't know the last time I watched a Raw, SmackDown all the way through, but when I put it on. And she, depending on who's on the stage, she goes, "Who's that?" And when, like, she'll see Drew McIntyre, that's a star. She goes, "Who's that?" She knows Roman Reigns is a star. She knows Cody Rhodes is a star. Like, she knows Rhea Ripley's a star. based on their look, she's like, that's a star. And you can tell her reaction, like, that's a star. And there's other people, she's like, they don't need to be on the screen. And like, it's kind of like she sees EO Sky. I know the crowd's like, EO, but my wife's like, why is EO on the screen? She's boring to me. And that's what I mean. Like, there's like the casual test is what I would consider my wife is the casual test. And I feel like Triple H is not going after the casual test. He's trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do, but it ain't working, bud. And I need you to change it up. We'll start listening to different people. You know what I'm saying? Michael Hayes been working backstage since 95, and Bruce Pritchard been working backstage since 85. Like, it's time for some new blood, bruh. It's time for some new head bookers. You know what I mean? It's time to change it up. All right, let's wrap the show up, shall we? Thank you all for listening. It's been fun. We'll be back next week. Pay attention on Instagram and pay attention on Blue Sky. I'm gonna make some announcements. Some DJ Chase Radio live sports exclusives presented by Downright Sports. Some NBA games, some football games. May or may not do the World Series. I haven't decided. I got tonight is game 3. They're tied 1-1. If they go to game 5, I'll probably do it. So they're gonna go to a game 5. Maybe if game 5 is like a winner, somebody's going to win or the World Series and it's over, I may do it. Definitely doing game 7. Just throwing it out there. Ah! My headphone came out. Ah! All right, I'm back. Follow the show on TikTok and Instagram. Go to Facebook/Downright Sports and check us out there. Go to YouTube/Downright Sports and definitely check us out. Some old content on there. Go back and take a look. Download the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Download the DJ Chase Radio app. We'll see you guys next week. Be safe. Hold it down out there. As always, deuces. Let's wrap this thing up, man. Come on. Shut it down, Chef. Shut it down. Chef sitting over there in the corner, chilling. Wanted to do the show. He didn't eat dinner, which is crazy. Did not eat dinner. I'm about to eat dinner, though, because I is hungry. I'm hungry. Hungry. That's what you know, Facebook, YouTube. I do all this foolish stuff to buy time until I get up to shut it down.